friends, I'm Priscilla Purl. I'm an avid knitter and vintage enthusiast from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. I love to knit from both vintage and modern patterns to create items that complement my vintage-inspired wardrobe. If you want to see more of what I'm up to, I can be found on both Instagram and Ravelry as The Lavender Pearl. I have a lot to tell you about today. In this video, I'm going to talk about 2 finished objects, my vintage cape dress work in progress, and my first ever cross-stitch project. I will have links to everything I talk about in the description box below. The KnitPicks link is the only one that is an affiliate link. I make a small commission on any sales from that link at no cost to you. By purchasing from this link, you help support this channel, but there's absolutely no pressure to use that link. First, I'm going to tell you all about my Sheena blouse by Poison Grrls. This was a super fun and quick knit. I never even had the chance to show it off while it was still a whip. I used KnitPicks Swish DK in Dusk. Swish DK is a 100% superwash merino DK weight yarn. Dusk is a gorgeous sapphire blue. Swish is very soft and squishy. It's a nice price for merino yarn, and the only downside is it's very splitty while you're working with it. Usually I can feel splits while they're happening and correct them, but it's more annoying when knitting lace and I have to be a little bit more careful. I love how my finished blouse feels, so I don't regret my yarn choice, but I probably wouldn't choose this yarn again for a project that has any lace in it. I bought this yarn last fall during KnitPicks big fall sale to knit Frenchie by Poison Grrls. I actually started knitting Frenchie after my last video, but I was starting to wonder if the puffy princess sleeves were me. They're very cute, but I wasn't sure if I'd get much wear out of the finished object. Just as I was deciding if I should continue with Frenchie, Sheena was released, and as soon as I saw the capped sleeve version, I knew I needed to knit it. I love capped sleeves, and I get a lot of wear out of my capped sleeve knits. Sheena calls for a sport weight yarn, but luckily I was able to get gauge with my DK weight yarn on the recommended needles. The Sheena blouse is knit top down in one piece. It has directions for 3/4 length sleeves as well as cap sleeves. There's also directions for a crew neck or a mock turtleneck. I knit mine with cap sleeves and a mock turtleneck. This blouse has a triangular lace mesh design down the front, on the back, and on the 3/4 length sleeves. It's very cute and keeps things interesting without being too difficult. There are charts as well as written directions for the lace. I knit the size medium and I have about 1/2 inch of positive ease. Based on the measurements in the pattern, I should have had about 1 inch of positive ease, but I blocked mine very gently because I was afraid of making it too big. I figure I can always block it a little bit more later if I want. I'm very happy with the fit though. I added an extra 1.5 inches of stockinette after the waist decreases before the ribbing at the bottom. I wanted this blouse to be super comfortable and versatile, and it turned out perfectly. It ends just above my hips, and because of the positive ease, it doesn't ride up and expose my stomach if I move around too much. It wears well with skirts and with pants. This was a really fun and easy knit. It knit up really quickly too. I think it took me just over 2 weeks to knit. I usually knit tops in fingering weight, so knitting in DK was a nice change. This pattern was very clearly written and easy to follow. I am in love with my finished object, and I expect to get a lot of wear out of it. Poison Grrls knocked it out of the park again with this pattern. Next, I'm going to talk about my second finished object. It's the Best Beret by James N. Watts. I used KnitPicks Wool of the Andes worsted in black. Wool of the Andes worsted is a 100% wool worsted weight yarn. I've used it many times, and it's one of my favorite worsted weight wool yarns. It's not quite as soft as merino, but I still find it pretty soft, and it's very durable. It's a decent price, and there's a good selection of colors. KnitPicks collects sales tax for us Canadians, so there's no surprise duties charges. I tend to avoid ordering from other countries because of duties charges, so I really appreciate that. The Best Beret has 2 band sizes for different head sizes, as well as 2 silhouettes. There is the classic and the dramatic silhouette. The dramatic silhouette gets larger than the classic and lives up to its dramatic name. I knit the dramatic silhouette because I like to be a little extra. In the last video, I mentioned that I wasn't sure if I wanted to finish mine with a pom-pom or a stock. I ended up going with a stock for mine. Pom-poms feel a little bit wintry and I want to wear mine all year round. This pattern is a pretty quick and easy knit. It took me a lot longer to finish mine than it should have. If I buckled down, it should have taken me maybe a week, but it ended up taking me about a month. Part of that was me getting distracted by other projects, but I was also a little bit nervous about finishing because I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to be happy with the fit. The Best Beret starts with an I-cord band around the bottom. I ran into an issue at the beginning where my I-cord got gauged, but it didn't quite stretch enough to fit around my head. I started again and I went up in needle size and it fit around my head, but as I was working on it I was kind of nervous that it might not be super comfortable. I have a really sensitive head and I can't wear anything too tight like a solid plastic headband. Even fabric headbands bother me if I wear them for too long. So far my Best Beret has been comfortable, but I'm not sure if I could wear it all day long. I'll have to wear it some more to find out. I really like the shape of this beret and I am happy with the size of the dramatic silhouette. I think this pattern is really great aside from the I-cord and it was very easy to follow. I would consider knitting it again, but starting with ribbing instead of the I-cord. I would love to have some different colors of berets and one with a pom-pom. Because it took me so long to finish it, I ended up blocking it with my Sheena blouse. I hadn't considered wearing them together, but they looked so cute on my blocking mats. Maybe it was a good thing that it took me so long to finish my Best Beret. Overall, I would recommend this pattern because it was a very quick and easy knit and my finished beret turned out really cute. Be aware of the I-cord band though. If you don't like a tight hat, you might want to try starting with ribbing instead. Next, I'm going to talk about my progress on my vintage dress with detachable cape. The pattern that I'm knitting is style number 1806 from Bernat book number 121. It's a vintage pattern from the 60s. I'm using Holst Garn Super Soft in the colorway Prussian. Super Soft is a 100% wool, light fingering weight yarn. It is sold with the spinning oil still in it and blooms when it's washed and blocked. Prussian is a super dark blue with a hint of purple. It's so dark that it's almost black. So far, I'm enjoying working with this yarn. It's not quite as super soft as the name implies, but I find it pretty comfortable and it was a really good price. Since it's a large project, I'm gonna need a lot of yarn. I bought 3 cones and I'm really happy with how much I spent. This yarn stains my hands a little bit where I tension my yarn, but I don't really mind. The extra dye will be removed when I wash and block it. It's a very dramatic color and I'm in love with it. Like most vintage patterns, this dress and cape are knit flat in multiple pieces and then seamed together at the end. I'm knitting the dress first. It's worked bottom up. The dress is knit in 2 main pieces, the front and the back, but there's also some facings, bias bands, and a belt that's knit separately. When I last talked about this project, I had just cast on the back panel and I had knit the hem and a couple inches of the skirt. Since then I've finished the skirt, the waist shaping, and I'm just working on the bust shaping now. I'm almost at the underarms. Considering that I'm using a very fine weight of yarn and tiny US size 2 needles, I'm very surprised by how quickly it's working up. I thought it was going to take much longer. Hopefully I'll get the dress done in time to wear it a little bit this summer. I probably won't get the cape done until later in the year though. I don't want to push myself too much with this project and burn out before it's done. The knitting of the dress has been very easy. It's perfect TV knitting. Lots of stockinette with some increases and decreases for shaping. Knitting flat in pieces does make me a little bit nervous though because I can't try it on as I go. There should be a little bit of ease though, and from measuring my back panel, it looks like it'll be a good fit. I'm just so used to making top-down garments that are knit in one piece that I can try on as I go and make adjustments if I like. It's hard to just trust the pattern. So far, I'm really enjoying this project. The yarn is going farther than I'd anticipated, so luckily I'm not stressed about if I have enough. Next, I'm going to tell you about my first cross-stitch project. I'm not sure why it took me so long to try cross-stitch. The only explanation I can come up with is I was too busy knitting. Now that I've tried it, I really love it and I'll likely continue with it. Knitting is still my main love though, so don't worry, this isn't going to turn into a cross-stitch channel. Hopefully you'll enjoy hearing about it at the end of some of my videos though. I bought the Stay Home, It's Too Peoply Out There kit from the Witchy Stitcher. The Witchy Stitcher is from BC, Canada, like me, and they sell spooky cross-stitch patterns and kits. They have so many cute designs and I'm obsessed. The kit came with everything that I needed to get started. It had the fabric, the thread, tapestry needle, the pattern, and a beginner's guide. I added the hoop on as well because I didn't have one yet. I chose this pattern because it seemed relevant due to the pandemic, and because I'm a huge introvert and I like to stay home anyways. I also think the skulls, flowers, and hearts are cute. I'm almost done with this project and I really enjoyed it. I just have some detailing on the top flower there left to go. Like knitting, I can cross stitch while I'm lying down and watching TV. It's relaxing and fun. I also like that I'm creating something to go on my walls. I knit so many garments, it's nice to make something that'll decorate my walls instead of my body. I already have the supplies to start my next cross-stitch project. I plan on only keeping one cross-stitch project on the go at a time. Having 2 knits and 1 cross-stitch project on the go at once felt like a good balance, but for a while there it felt like I wasn't making any progress on anything. Looking back on it now, I feel like I was more productive this month than I was giving myself credit for. Now that I'm at the end of this project, I'm looking forward to finishing so I can start my next one. Do you enjoy both knitting and cross-stitching? Now that I'm cross-stitching, I'm seeing more cross-stitch posts from my knitting friends on Instagram. I guess I'm just looking a little bit closer at cross-stitch posts now. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to my channel. It lets me know that you're interested, and by subscribing, it'll make it easier for you to find my future videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye!